Hey gang, it's Scott. Welcome back to Van Dingo. Great to have you with us. This is the 2021 Sprinter van build, and we put windows in. Now we're moving to the Maxxair Fan. So we're going to do a unboxing and talk about changing out the original Sprinter sort of cargo van fan that was installed in the vehicle at the factory. Not bad, but not what we need for our needs. So let's get going. Got the unboxing set up here. Got coffee. Got the utility tool. We're going to get to this unboxing here in a minute, but it's a Maxxair Fan Deluxe with a remote, and I believe it's the 7500 series, which 7500K, which I guess does about everything you want it to do, including drive the car for you if you needed to. So let's unbox that. But this is just to take a quick look. This is that unusual sort of build for a Sprinter. I've got two sliders. And in addition to that, there is the original factory Mercedes-Benz fan that does an okay job, but quite a bit of noise and rattles quite a bit. And, you know, things in the van do rattle anyway, but this one, not what we're looking for, and that's why we're going to make that change today. So, got the ladder out. Let's get to it. All right, let's go. Let's unbox this thing. Gotta have a good cup of joe, right? When you start any project, particularly in the morning in November. I should say 2021 sort of marked this moment. So I put my coffee over here. Let's get this Maxxair Fan opened up. Got my utility tool. Okay, let's just get the tape off of here. Same thing on this side. And I guess we're gonna just, man, they do a nice job of keeping this thing in here. All right. There we go. Got anything left in the box? Yes, we do. Fractions and parts. Maxxair Fan, 7500K. I think that's what we ordered. That's what we got. 7500K. Box contains. So this is going to be fan speeds, 10 fan speeds, 12 volt. Controls its ceiling. It says thermostat, not sure what that is, intake and exhaust, and then a remote control. And then a picture of the remote control right there. And the screen will be on that remote control. So let's get this out of the way. Everything in there. We got our 7500K instruction manual. And we got our utility tool here. Come on, Husky, open that thing up. There it is. That can mount in a nice place up on the wall of the van when we get her ready, get it done. I need to put that away and not lose it, along with the screws that come with it and the directions. And then here's the pack of screws and a couple of the power leads. Looks like we got 4 of those power leads and the screws that go into the ceiling of the van. So we're going to set those aside. Open this baby up a little bit further. And you get the internal ring in addition to the piece that goes up on the ceiling. Let's see. There's the internal beauty ring. Right, once you get the ceiling all trimmed out, this is going to go up under the ceiling and up into that cavity and screwed up to the unit. That's your beauty ring. These are, picture this upside down, obviously on the ceiling, like that. And these are the screws that are going to go through the sheet metal to hold it on, in addition to the sealant that we're going to use. So there's the fan. Set that aside. Over here. Part of what needs to go with this process is the extra pack of supplies. I've done 3. This will be my 3rd ceiling fan, so I feel like I'm a seasoned veteran. But this is the product we've used on the prior. That's the 3M Marine Adhesive Sealant. I think it's called lap sealant. You'll see it in a number of YouTube videos. But this worked really, really well when we did my daughter's Vans conversion, sealed it, and have had no problems whatsoever with rain water coming in. That's just some primer things for another project. So I got a couple of these. Takes about 1 is my memory, but I got some extra just in case. And that's what we need, to get this project done. See you in a bit. All right. So, tip of the day. Not tip of the day, but a tip is templates are really helpful. I use templates in the bunkhouse, the bunk windows that I installed in the back to help me measure and cut it appropriately through the sheet metal. And I'm using a template here that'll help me up on the ceiling when I trace out the size of the hole I need. It's 14 by 14 is the cutout. But simply just wherever you've got some cardboard, I'm taking this cardboard right out of the Maxxair Fan box. Very useful, the right size. And to keep it stable, got a little tape here. Just so you don't push it around when you're doing it. You don't need a lot, but just keep it stable. Sort of similar over here. Easy peasy. Not elaborate, just keep it there because human hands tend to move things around. Pencil will push things around. So I'm just gonna trace the hole I'm gonna cut out. The pencil's already pushing through the cardboard. All the way around here. Around here. And then back. And that'll be my template that I use up on the ceiling to do some more tracing. So I get my cut right, which is incredibly important. All right? Cutting through sheet metal, you only want to do it once. And there's really no correcting major gaffes in sheet metal. So measure, 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 then cut. All right, so let's see. I don't know if you can see that, but there you got all the way around the template, and I'll cut this out that I'll use up on the roof. Interesting. Some of them will come out. There you go. That one came out. Spinning. Spinning, spinning, spinning. That one's coming out. Interesting. Got some work to do. Okay, so got it off finally. I had some strange sized socket holes there. You couldn't have a step down socket. It had to be one real small one with a good long arm on it. And then a lot of these bolts just spun. So I had to, doing it by myself, I had to put a socket and the arm to the socket in a interesting spot up there and hold something heavy next to it. So underneath the van, I could unscrew it, but it's out. Had to snip the little connector off, but you can find one of those easily. And this is something you could easily get out on the market and resell. But now we're done. She's off of there. Next step. Oh, hey, up on the roof here, just put the template down and I've traced it. Cleaned up the roof first with simple green. Just because the roof was dirty and I hadn't cleaned it before. So when you put down the sealant, you want a clean sheet metal bond. So cleaned that up, and you'll see here in a minute. And I'm just got a bit more of a tracing to do. I'm gonna measure before I cut the sheet metal, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, up here with the template, and I've got a new Sharpie because my other Sharpie was just not dark enough. Threw that one out, went for new supplies. Fortunately, I had said Sharpie in my tool chest. And there we go. So this is gonna give us some general guidelines on what the cut's gonna look like. And I am gonna square it up and do some more measuring before I actually commence the cut. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Okay, bright sunny day, no wind. Here we go. Important piece of this work here is this blue tape. So I got to go in both directions because you need to really limit the amount of metal chips both inside the van and up on the roof here when you make your cut. Using a jigsaw, trusty DeWalt, with a fine tooth metallic blade, and down below you can see I've got a bag hanging from the inside to catch the metal shavings as well. So I'm going to suit up and we're going to get to cutting. Hey, so it's golden hour here in Texas, and I've been at it for a while. So remember when I said measure, then cut? Well, I was a little conservative. I made the hole quite small, probably by 1/4 of an inch, half an inch all the way, no, sorry, 1/16 all the way around. So I had to recut the hole a few times and shape it, and then busted some jigsaw blades, blades that were a bit old from the windows that I put in earlier. So run to Lowe's and picking up some supplies, and now we're here. We're at it. I've primed the metal, the raw metal around the hole with the same primer that I use for the windows. It's that 3M single primer. It's really good stuff. And I'm going to show you what I've got here in terms of supplies. So here is the completed hole, and you can see the primer around it. And sorry about the camera. I did want to show you these screws that are provided by Maxxair Fan. If you see these, they're not self-tapping, and these heads, because I've got experience with these, you spin the bit right in those heads trying to get through this sheet metal. So given the experience on my daughter's van, this, which is from Lowe's, any hardware store I think can supply this. These are self-tapping screws. They go right into metal. What you want to make sure though is that your head size is in close proximity to the head size here of these, because they need to go into that piece right there, and you don't want them too small sinking through the holes that are provided. And put your drill that you're using, in this case my trusty DeWalt, put your drill on a sort of a lighter setting here, so when you put those self-tapping screws in, you're not drilling them all the way through that plastic and into, you know, into the metal to where you lose the grip on the plastic donut that's going to hold the Maxxair fan. So I've got my 3M adhesive, fast curing adhesive, lap sealant. I've got an extra just in case I need it, and some gloves, because we're going to be dealing with adhesive, trusty paper towels as always, and a trash can that will, you know, hopefully not take too much refuse as we're on our way up here. So you can climb up and down on these vans, no problem. I've been doing it throughout the day on this build, and just to get the metal shavings that I didn't catch with my tape moat and my bag on the inside, which worked out really well. But now it's time to finish this up. So here we go. Okay, let's get this adhesive going. White. It's interesting, the stuff I used on the urethane on the windows was black, so it's interesting the colors they choose for this stuff. Let's get this opened up. There we go. Oh, almost forgot I got to screw on my dealie. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a pretty sizable bead around the Maxxair Fan donut. Here it comes. See, it's a lot. I'm going to end up using multiple. I don't know if you can see that, but that was quite the bead. But that's okay. I don't want any leaks. Take it around the corner. And we'll just keep going around the corner until that's completely done, and I'll be back with you. Just give you a sense of how much easier it is to drill these they're self-tapping, and they're much easier than what comes with the Maxxair Fan. Well, I said much easier, but that one's giving me a fit. There we go. Two more. And the final one. Now, we're going to take this lap sealant. Kind of ripped up my hand there a little bit. No blood, no issues. Just hanging onto the drill. And we're going to put the lap sealant the directions call for you to overlap the screws and put a nice bead around the whole thing. and that's what we're gonna do. So I'm getting ready to put this lap sealant around this whole bead around here and up on top of the screw heads themselves, because that's what the directions call for. You can use a sort of a utility tool if you want to smooth it out, because it does get a bit messy when you're putting it on. But the other piece too I wanted to share is that on a Sprinter van, this 14 by 14 hole here, you know you're nailing it when your edge of your Maxxair Fan receiver donut fits inside these two sort of elevated pieces of metal here. You got a little bit more room in the back, but this is the front space that Sprinter makes available for that size of an opening. So there you go, very liberal adhesive lap sealant. I think it's called as a generic, and covered all of the screws as well per the directions, and that takes 24 hours to cure. So I've got 4 screws I'm going to put the Maxxair Fan on with, and hopefully don't get adhesive all over myself, and that way the hole is covered for, we're not expecting inclement weather, but you know, critters and whatnot. And it's nearly done. Well, there it is. Some of these projects go into the late hours, getting the right equipment, supplies you're short of. I got one little screw there, right there, that's not lining up. The other two on the other side, and this one went in fine, but I'm fighting that one a little bit. And so I'm gonna wrap this up, see if I can get it to come together for me, or get after it again tomorrow. All right, be good, everybody. See ya.